Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Craig Finlay and I would like to welcome you now to our service. And I believe it is both an honour and a privilege to be here as we pause to reflect on the life of Reece Paul Harding, eldest son of Keith and Michelle and brother to Jordan. To Keith, Michelle and Jordan, I am sure I speak on behalf of everyone here today and for the many people who have wanted to be here, both from Australia and abroad, to say that we stand with you in this difficult time and our hearts of love and sympathy are extended to each of you during this time of loss. Reece was a man who never liked a fuss to be made of him or to stand out in a crowd, but rather just to blend in and get on with life. But in his effort to do so, Reece has in fact made a massive difference to many lives by just being himself. It would be true to say that Reece is someone who has had a part in shaping people's character, a part in moulding of their spirits, and he has touched many hearts by just being himself and along his journey. It was Albert Einstein that said these words: "Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile." He also said, "To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived is to have succeeded in life." And I think you would all agree that Reece's life has been worthwhile and that because he has breathed, others have breathed easier. We are what we repeatedly do. So excellence then is not a single act, but a habit and a lifestyle. Today is a hard day, as we will lay Reece's physical body to its final resting place. But before we do, we now have the opportunity to remember and to recall his life, his character, and the special moments that he has touched all of you in some way in his 23 years here on earth. We all have a story, and that story is made up of the various chapters of our lives. One chapter closes, then another opens until the story is complete. And stories are passed down from generation to generation, and I am sure and certain that Reece's will be passed down from this time forward. We'll be having a number of tributes today about Reece's life, and to begin that, I'm now going to ask his father Keith and brother Jordan if they would come and share their thoughts on Reece, and then Jordan will also reflect on for Mum as well. So Keith and Jordan, could I invite you up? Following these words of reflection, we will watch a collection of photos that have been put to the song called "Missing You" by P. Daddy, and which will help capture the essence of what has been shared. So Keith and Jordan, would you come?
Well, I'm not really sure where to start. I had my son for 23 years and 10 months. He was a good kid, always smiling and wanting to help. He was bright, intelligent, caring, thoughtful, and certainly determined. I remember once when he was only about 18 months old, I was working up on the roof and I had a call from Michelle saying to look behind me, and there was Reece. So determined to come and help me, he climbed up the ladder. He loved his sports, swimming, go-karting, AFL. And I feel a sadness that he couldn't go with me to the match tonight, where we will see Reece, the West Coast, beating the Suns. He's always been there for me and the family, when I had a heart attack a few years ago, he needed to step up and support his mother and his brother, which he did. He always used to come in daily with videos and Tim Tams, and was always there when I was struggling in rehab. He seemed to have the ability to know what I was trying to do and make it as easy as possible for me. He was very, very thoughtful and caring. He knew that I'd like to have a bet on the horses. And every week he'd give me the change out of his pocket so I could have a small bet. And when he went away, he would go to the bank and get $2 coins and bag them up weekly. So while he was away, I had enough money to have my little bets. One that he loved to travel, meeting new people. And I'm sure he's been to more places than most people go a lifetime in his 23 years. You know, he was very caring and thoughtful because he was always looking after his mates. I remember one day a mate phoned up and wanted to pick him up at the airport at 2 a.m. He didn't even question it. He just got in his car and went straight to pick him up. He loved animals. Again, looking out for a mate, wanted him to look after a husky for a couple of weeks. 7 years later, we've still got the husky. And he was a great mate of Reece's. He used to take him to the beach. And he used to love sitting in the front of the car. He was always a big joker, mainly at my expense. He used to say that I had no friends, and if I went to the races, because of my vision impairment, I'd probably talking to chairs and poles. So one day I thought I'd ask some friends to come back to the house to show that I did have some friends. When they turned up, they denied knowing me. Apparently Reece had already got to them and explained it to them. I could go on for hours with all funny stories of Reece, but I will remember he was a great, great son. Obviously, he was very passionate about the plight with the Kurds. And typical Reece that we know would want to go and help them. We spoke many a time on the phone when he was over there, explaining what was going on and how much he wanted to help them. We will never forget, Reece, what you wanted to achieve over there. I remember that you were passionate. You taught me a word that I had to keep using. And to my Kurdish people, they'll know what it means. BG, YPG. BG, YPJ. BG, Kurdistan. He would always say that at the end of a phone call with him. I know, Reece, you can't speak, but we will speak for you and further the cause that you were so passionate about. I love you, son, and I'm so, so proud of you.
I'm going to start by speaking on my mother's behalf for Reece. My Reece, I loved you from the moment I saw you. That first smile you gave me at 6 weeks old melted my heart. I'm so glad that you and Jordan came into my life and brought me so much joy and happiness, watching you both grow into such fine men. There are no words to explain the pain I feel at losing you, and I will always feel a piece of me died with you that day. Good night, my darling boy, and sleep tight. Until we meet again, love you and miss you always, Mum. It's fair to say that Reece has lived a life that few could only imagine. Although his life was short-lived, it was one worth living. He may have had his ups and downs, like most of us, but Reece was determined to live life to the fullest. Over nearly 24 years, he has held national swimming titles, visited more countries than I can name, and probably drunk more booze than anyone in this room. His death may have left a bruise on all of our hearts, but I can confidently say that he was at peace when he died. Not many people, no matter how old they are, can say that they made a difference in life, but Reece was an exception. Take solace knowing that my brother died doing what he thought was right and doing what made him happy, knowing that he was making a difference. We can all learn from the life Reece led. We can all learn from his strong moral beliefs and his commitment to those same beliefs. In a time when everyone else stood by, my brother stood up and acted upon his beliefs to come to the aid of people in despair. As I've grown up, I've come to view Reece not simply as a big brother, but rather as a mate. He was someone who you could talk to about Dad's difficulties one minute and girls the next. I would always be his designated driver for his weekend night outs. The few drinks that he did have before we left could fuel some rather questionable conversations and brotherly advice on a range of topics. I will always remember him for his cheeky grin and giggle that raised one thought in your mind: what have you done now? Only after to realise that a pungent odour loomed in the air. I often pondered how our relationship would flourish over the years. I would anticipate my 18th birthday when Reece had promised to take me out for my first legal drink. I would envision attending Reece's wedding by his side and becoming an uncle to his firstborn. I would imagine us growing old together, with him slowly morphing into Dad's image whilst desperately using various hair treatments with no success. Although I will never experience these events, I will continue to live my life as my brother did. I will enjoy every moment and live life with no regrets. I will strive to continue Reece's legacy to help people during their time of hardship in every little way that I can, so that his sacrifice was not in vain. I may not be clairvoyant, I may not be able to predict the future, but I do know one thing for certain. I know that if I can grow up to be half the man Reece was, I would be proud and content with my life.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Jordan. From those few comments made about the ribbing that you've received, Keith, it's easy to see that you had a wonderful relationship and some wonderful family times. One of the greatest searches in life is the search for meaning and what you want to do with your life. For many, it takes us on a life adventure or service, which some may say is the same, but it's an attempt to make a difference in this life and to leave your mark. To feel that we have made a contribution, this is every one of us, our core desires. That we have developed as a human being and that we've become proud of who we are. And I think that's what we're hearing today. That's what these testimonies are going to demonstrate to us. So we will now see a slideshow.
This right here, tell me what. notorious, they got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can't express what you mean to me. Even though you're gone, we still a team. Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams. In the future, can't wait to see if you open up the gates for me. Reminisce sometime. The night they took my friend. Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death. Us while we pray for you. Every day we pray for you. Till the day we meet again. In my heart is where I keep you, friend. Memories give me the strength I need to proceed. Strength I need to believe. My thoughts big, I just can't define. Wish I could turn back the hands of time. Us in the six, shop for new clothes and kicks. You and me taking flicks, making hits. Stages they receive you on. Still can't believe you're gone. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living your life after death.
I'm now going to ask Leighton, one of Reece's mates, if he would come and share some thoughts on behalf of his friends. And following Leighton's words, we will then have another visual presentation to the song Someone Like You by Charlie Puth. Thank you. Thanks, mate.
I'd just like to start by thanking the Kurdish community for the support and generosity you guys have shown to bring Reece home. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Leighton. Reece and I met 11 years ago at Emmanuel College. I remember the first time I saw Reece, I was walking through the schoolyard and a bunch of Year 8 kids walked past, and at the back there was Reece. He was head and shoulders above the rest. I remember thinking, like, what's the deal with this guy? Like, he's huge. I turned to my friends and I said, who is this guy? They said, that's Reece. He's a national champion swimmer. He's a celebrity. I didn't talk to Reece that day, but I ended up bumping into him again a few months later over summer holidays. We started chatting, and I mentioned how, I remembered seeing him, and he mentioned how him and his mate were out partying and they had nowhere to stay that night, so I let him crash on my floor. The rest is history. We started to hang out regularly, we got along, and over the next few years we became inseparable. Then we both got jobs at Wendy's. I don't know what they were thinking, letting two teenage boys work unsupervised. We both tried to make our best. We both tried to make up for the fact that we were earning minimum wage by eating as much ice cream and hot dogs as possible, even though we weren't meant to. Then there was the time Reece would sneak into O'Malley's underage for 3 years. Every time there was a new security guard, he'd have to spend time buttering him up until he knew him well enough that he wouldn't ask him for ID. Then the night came, Reece actually turned 18 and had to somehow explain how he'd been a regular for so long. The 3-month ban they gave him lasted about 3 weeks. Reece and I also lived together over a few years. He lived with my family, I lived with his. We lived with friends, we lived with my brothers, and we lived with some crazy Germans. Reece was a good housemate, we always got along, except for when he was being a bit grubby. I remember there was one night we had a bit of an argument. There was a pot plant that got broke, and he went out without cleaning it up. So when he came home at 5 in the morning, mysteriously this big pot plant was in his bed. He ended up sleeping with it for 3 days. Reece faced more challenges in his short life than most people face in a lifetime, but he never gave up. It would have been easy for him to go through life being bitter and sour, but he wasn't. He was the opposite. He was always so strong and positive. Whenever he fell off the horse, he'd get straight back on. Reece could have done anything. He was smart, he was athletic, he was popular, and he was good looking. He had all the ingredients of success. But there was more to him than that. He was kind-hearted and caring, generous, compassionate, easygoing, and never took himself too seriously. He was the kind of guy you'd meet for 5 minutes and felt like you'd known a lifetime. He never judged anyone and always gave him a fair go. He was outgoing, bubbly, kind, and just wanted to be happy. No one ever had a bad word to say about him. He was the kind of person that would do anything for anyone, no matter what, no matter how big or small. He was the ultimate friend. He also liked to party. Reece knew how to party like no one else. He basically was the party. The amount of times he'd call me up and ask me if I wanted to go out, and I'd say no, I was busy, only to hear a knock at my door 2 minutes later. It'd be Reece with a bottle of vodka in his hand. He'd called me from the car sitting outside of my place and decided we were already going out whether I liked it or not. He was a formidable drinking buddy. Without you, we'd all probably still be drinking responsibly. I think we can all learn a lot about Reece by the way he lived his life. He seized the day and chased his dreams. He didn't sit around and wait. He didn't sit around and wait for opportunities to come to him. He got out there and went to them. Reece spent most of the last 2 years travelling the world, doing the things he always wanted and seeing the things he always wanted to. He lived more in his 23 years than most people do in 80. And I think we can all find peace in knowing that he lived his life to the fullest to the very end. I'll never forget the crazy memories Reece left me with. The countless summers we had together, spending it at the beach, the trips to Bali, the time you ran away from security in your undies in the Gili Islands at 3 a.m, jumping barbed wire fences because you broke a beach umbrella, travelling Europe together, hitchhiking your way home in a flower truck in Split, the nights in Ibiza, running with the bulls in Pamplona, 5 a.m. bottle service, and terrorising the place in Biarritz. They're all treasured memories now. I'll miss being able to rely on you and having a shoulder to lean on no matter what. I'll miss the endless hours of talking about anything and everything. Being able to call you at any hour of the day, knowing your answer, and knowing I could always trust your advice even when I didn't want to, because you knew me better than I knew myself. I'll miss the nights in, the nights out, the days at the beach, your cheeky smile, infectious laugh, generosity, compassion, and selflessness. Most of all, I'll just miss you for being you. You were the only person that knew exactly what was going on in my head, even when I didn't. Without you, I wouldn't have become half the man I am today. You were one of a kind, and you'll never be replaced. I hope you find true happiness in your next life. I know you'll be waiting for a beer in hand with that cheeky smile. We can't wait to see you again on the other side. Rest in peace. We love you.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Why'd you have to leave so soon, yeah? Why'd you have to go? Why'd you have to leave me when I needed you the most? 'Cause I don't really know how to tell you without feeling much worse. I know you're in a better place, but it's always gonna hurt. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. How do I breathe without you? I'm feeling so cold. I'll be waiting right here for you till the day you're home. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. So let the light guide your way. you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again, see you again. When I see you again.
I have an email which I've been asked to read that was sent to Keith by Mr. Joe Ackerman, who was also a member with Reece in the YPG. And Joe was also with Reece when he stepped on the landmine and was killed. And it reads like this: to our dear brother Reece Bagok Harding. And for those that are wondering, Bagok was Reece's Kurdish name. We only got to know you for a short time, my friend, but in that short time you made such an impact on us. You were a genuine, caring, funny man with such a kind heart. We who fought beside you are honoured and privileged to not just have known you, but to be your brothers in arms. You came all the way from Australia to fight and defend against such evil. You stood up and lost your life for what you believed in. We will never forget you, dear brother, and we will never let those who took you from us forget just how much you mean to us. Rest in peace, our brother, and thank you for being part of our lives. Sehid Namarin, you will live on in each and every one of us, our friend, our brother, Reece Bagok Harding, part of the proud group called Sabotage. Joe went on to add a personal note to Keith and said, I'm not really good at things like this. I don't normally let my soft side show, Mr. Harding. But Reece's loss really hit me. His genuine kindness was overwhelming. He was a gentleman. I will and do miss him dearly. So we thank Joe for his part today in sending that email for us to read. We have another short video message now from Ashley Dybel, who was still overseas fighting and was also very close to Reece. So I draw your attention again to the screen.
Reece Harding was a great man and a top bloke and a great mate. I had the pleasure of spending almost every day with him over here, and the pleasure of and the honour to spend almost every waking moment with him. He always had a smile on his face, lit up. We never understood how he kept his teeth so white. But it's sad. He paid the ultimate sacrifice for standing out for what is right. He stood up against the evil that is affecting humanity. He knew what was going on here, and he wanted to make a change. He was a great man. He's not gone. He'll forever be with us in our memories, as long as we let him live inside us. And I know for sure he's looking down on us with a big smile. We spoke highly of his family and friends, and loved him dearly. Rest in peace, brother.
Thinking about Reece, when we've become an example for others, for them to take notice of and acknowledge that we are a person of values and convictions, who live principles that gave us and others energy and purpose as the sun rises each day. That is what it means to have made a lasting impact. Reece Harding was such a person. He lived what he believed and demonstrated that with courage. He was passionate, caring, determined, humble and modest. who had a sense of justice to do what was right in the world. He had felt that he wanted to do the right thing in any way that he could. I'm now going to introduce Dennis on behalf of the Kurdish community, if he would come and share about how Reece has made a difference to them. Thank you. And at the conclusion of Dennis's words, we'll have our final video presentation, which makes a powerful statement of where Reece's heart was to the song, I Still Call Australia Home. Thanks, Dennis.
I have been asked to speak today on behalf of the Kurdish community. I would firstly like to thank the Harding family for giving me the opportunity and the honour of speaking at the funeral of our hero. Reece was a mate to many of you here, but to us, the Kurdish people, he is our hero. In Kurdish, we say, Shahid Namaran, which means martyrs never die and they live on within us. Reece will live on forever in the hearts of the Kurdish people. On behalf of the Kurdish people, I would like to pass my condolences to all of you here today. To all of you who have lost a dear mate. To Jordan, who has lost a loving brother. To Keith, who has lost a caring son. And to Michelle, who has lost one of her 2 babies. In our culture, mothers are sacrosanct, especially the mothers of our fallen comrades. Michelle, there is no words that can describe our admiration and love for you. Today, you have dark clouds around your heart. You have raindrops falling from your eyes. But I know amongst all this sadness, you have pride beaming inside of you. And you have so much to be proud of. Reece was a humanitarian, someone who defended innocent lives, someone who had a significant impact in only 23 years of life, and someone who is a hero to the Kurdish people. Not only is Reece the hero of the Kurdish people, but he should be seen as a hero of all people who value and love equality, freedom, and democracy. Sometimes as Kurdish people, we feel that the world has turned their backs on us, that the world doesn't care that our women are being raped, that the world doesn't care that our men are being tortured, and the world doesn't care that our children are being massacred. Sometimes as Kurds, these are feelings that we have. But then we come across some very special people in our lives who prove us wrong. People like Joe Ackerman. People like Matthew Gardner. People like Ashley Dybel. People like Ashley Johnson, and of course, a person like Reece Harding. The truth of the matter is, the more that people hear our stories, the more they sympathise with the Kurdish people, the more they care, and the more they want to stand up against the injustices and the barbaric ways of ISIS. Reece went to Kurdistan and joined the YPG, which is the People's Protection Unit. The YPG are fighting to protect the innocent people of Kurdistan. Unfortunately, like so many of our comrades in this fight, Reece's life was taken away from us far too soon. Reece went to Kurdistan because, as he said in his video clip, he felt that the West was not doing enough, and he was certainly right. In memory of Reece and in his legacy, I ask everyone in this room here today, let's make a change. Let's put pressure on our politicians to make a difference. It's all good for the likes of Prime Minister Tony Abbott to call ISIS a death cult. But let's ask him the question, how he intends to plan to be a part of something that stops such evil. ISIS is not just the enemy of the Kurdish people. They are the enemy of all people who value and cherish equality, freedom, and democracy. Their brutal behaviour has no boundaries. Their hatred has no limitations. On top of this, we should be asking the Australian government to change our laws here. Currently, a person who joins the Kurdish forces faces the same prosecution as a person who joins ISIS and comes back to Australia. I question how the government can punish someone who is a humanitarian defending the innocent people of Kurdistan in the same manner as an ISIS member who is part of a death cult. Surely these ludicrous laws need to be changed. We want our heroes to feel safe to return home to Australia. We, the Kurdish people, are so proud of our fighters. We are tremendously proud of our comrades in the Peshmerga. We are tremendously proud of our comrades in the PKK. We are tremendously proud of our comrades in the YPG. And we are tremendously proud of our comrades in the YPJ. Just like Reece, they are fighting to save the lives of innocent people. They are fighting for a better future in Kurdistan, and they are fighting for a better future in this world. Michelle, we, the Kurdish community, are so proud of Reece. To us, he is our brother and he is our hero. Shaheed Namaran.
I've been to cities that never close down, from New York to Rio, an old London town. But no matter how far or how wide I roam, I still call Australia home. I'm always traveling, I love being free. keep believing the sun and the sea, but my heart lies waiting over the foam. I still call Australia home. All the sons and daughters spinning around the world, away from their family and friends. But as the world gets older and colder, it's good to know where your journey ends. And someday we'll all be together once more, when all of the ships come back to the shore. I realize something I've always known. I still call Australia home. I still call Australia. I still call Australia. I still call Australia home. I still call Australia. I still call Australia. I still call Australia.
Powerful stuff. I'd like to read a poem that someone sent to Michelle, which really touched her heart, and it's called A Message for Mum. Last night, while I was trying to sleep, my son's voice did I hear? I opened my eyes and looked around, but he did not appear. He said, "Mum, you've got to listen. You've got to understand. God didn't take me from you. Mum, he only took my hand." When I called out in pain that day, the instant that I died, he reached down and touched my hand and pulled me to his side. He pulled me up and saved me from the misery and the pain. My body was so badly hurt, I could never be the same. My search is really over now. I've found happiness within, all the answers to empty dreams and all that might have been. I love you all and miss you so, and I'll always be nearby. My body's gone forever, but my spirit will never die. And so you must all go on now, live one day at a time. Just understand, God did not take me from you. He only took my hand. We have heard and seen some powerful stuff today, and it's moments like today that we are privileged to take time out of our normal routine and to consider the value of life, the brevity of life, which causes us to realise that none of us have any guarantees of tomorrow. Reece went overseas in May after telling Mum and Dad he was going for a short break. His family initially thought he was doing humanitarian work, but they did not know that he would not return home alive. But in the message, as was mentioned, recorded by Reece through video, it spoke to me when I saw that of a man who had come to terms with himself, someone who felt comfortable in his own skin. I don't think there are any other words that can add value to Reece's convictions. But his honour lives on as an example to all who knew him, and he will be remembered forever. His name will be held high for generations to come. In spending a short time with Keith and Michelle, one statement that was made, I think, sums it up really well. Reece was an ordinary guy from an ordinary family, but he had an extraordinary heart. From a mum and dad's point of view, Reece gave his life for a cause that was worthwhile. Because he felt so strongly about it, he wanted to help the Kurdish people that he had fallen in love with. He wanted to make a difference, and that he did. He saw a bigger picture and he put his energy into that. He is gone now, but he will never be forgotten. It is interesting how death is something that can bridge barriers and transcend borders. It can unite us and touch us deep within. And that's what has happened in our service today. It reminds us of the sacredness of life through the reflection of the life of Reece Paul Harding. Ladies and gentlemen, that completes this part of our service here today in the chapel. Shortly we will make our way over to the Garden of Memories, which is just a few hundred metres up the road, and where we will lay Reece's body to its final resting place. There may be some of you who are not going to go to the graveside, so I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of Reece's family to thank you once again for coming, to pay your respects to Reece today and to show you your support for them as a family. Your presence makes all the difference. And if you choose, there will be a number of people who will be making their way to Reece's favourite watering hole, as was mentioned, which is O'Malley's in Surfers Paradise. There's nothing officially organised, but if you'd like to raise a glass for Reece later, that would be the place to do it. I'd also like to thank Kay Bassett from Somerville Funeral Southport for their expertise and their care in looking after Reece and all the preparations that they've made for this service today. Thank you, Kay. Also the Dream Centre for the use of their chapel today and the ground crew working behind the scenes. We'll now give a few parting words and then we'll play our last song, which is I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. And during this song, our funeral director, Kay, will come with her team and then call for the pallbearers, who will then lead us from the chapel and take the casket to the hearse. And once that has taken place, when ready, the piper will then pipe the hearse from the property out to the road and up to the Garden of Memories. And I would ask that if you could please form a guard of honour either side of the driveway, heading out of the gate for the hearse to drive through and help us to just usher Reece from here to his final resting place. So, having said that, can I ask that you now stand with me as we give a few parting words and play our last song. The greatest reality is our existence here on earth. The greatest resource is our ability to create. The greatest capacity is our capacity for love. And the greatest gift to us is the gift of life and a capacity for us to give. Our greatest resource for good is a shining grace upon us. So we now say thank you to Reece Harding for the light that he has shone before others as he has lived his life with us and gave it for others. So today we say, Reece, thank you.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you are sleeping, while you're far away and dreaming. I could spend my life in this sweet surrender. I could stay lost in this moment forever. Every moment moment spent with you is a moment I treasure. Don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Lying close to you, feeling your heart beating, and I'm wondering what you're dreaming, wondering if it's me you're seeing. And then I kiss your eyes and thank God we're together. And I just wanna stay with you in this moment forever, forever and ever. I don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. And I don't wanna miss one smile, and I don't wanna miss one kiss. I just wanna be with you, right here with you, just like this. I just wanna hold you close, I feel your heart so close to mine, and just stay here in this moment for all the rest of time. Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't wanna close my eyes, don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. I don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream will never do. But I still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, yeah. I don't wanna miss a thing.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that weep, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now,
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for your attendance today and for your support for the family as we have remembered and reflected on the life of their son and brother, Reece Paul Harding, who was taken from us in our minds far too soon. We have heard and seen what can come from the ordinary to become the extraordinary. Reece Harding was a man that stood up for what he believed in. He was not self-promoting or boastful. He was loyal to his family and friends. He was someone who always wanted to do the right thing. He took responsibility seriously and had a deep concern for social justice in the world. He was resilient and adaptable. He was intelligent and could do anything that he set his mind to. His athletic achievements demonstrated this and spoke for themselves in the national records that he set in the swimming championships and many others along the way. He was always thinking of others, always willing to lend a hand. He was respected and looked up to, especially by his brother Jordan. In saying all these wonderful things, Reece was also a lovable larrikin who loved to get out and have a good time and a great night out. He was popular with the girls and he loved a drink or two. He was a wonderful son to his parents and he rose to the challenge when needed, and Keith testified to that. When health challenges came his way, Reece stepped up to the plate. We've been given much today to take away from the service, but perhaps the greatest thing is the inspiration. Reece has inspired each one of us through his passion for life and his beliefs. And in a sense, you have become part of his family. Ruth Van Gramberg wrote these words about what it means to be part of a family. Being part of a family is to acknowledge its roots and all its extensions, to nurture an awareness of belonging till the final, reluctant farewell, to ascertain the rhythms and heartbeats of life as an unfolding constant, to acquire strong, steadfast values, virtues and obligations, to have total confidence and trust within stable and structured boundaries, to facilitate forgiveness, reconciliation, freshness and love in abundance, to experience established familiar patterns that resonate strength, and to accept that sound relationships may sometimes collapse and concede reform, to admit a child emerged from those special years in worthy transformation, to sanction the essence of proud beliefs and tradition bravely passed on, to joyously remember a multitude of endeavours in the small corner of the world that will always be called home. If Reece was to say something to us now, perhaps he would say something like this: I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering soft down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun, to cherish the happy memories that I leave when life is done. The reality is that life proceeds when a loved one leaves, and it's difficult for all of us who are left behind to grieve. We pick ourselves up and we try again, and we make every effort to function again. It won't be easy, as we well know, but we won't give up because this life event has made us grow. We loved Reece so much, and to lose him seemed so unkind. He went away first and he's left us behind. The pain in our hearts will remain yet a while, but yesterday's gone and tomorrow we will try and smile. Today we have acknowledged the value and significance that Reece has played in your life. And a funeral service such as this special time, where we have paused our normal activities, in some ways it is like a gift to us. A gift to stop and take breath from life's constant demands on our time and our energy, so that we can again connect with the little things in life. And it's when we do that, when we do stop and consider these little things, we find out that they really are the big things. Like telling people how much they mean to us, how much we appreciate them and how much we love them before it's too late. It's times like this that it helps us to put things into perspective, so that when we go back to our normal routines, we are conscious that life is short and but a breath, as one writer put it. A vapour or a mist, here for a short time and then gone. So live each day like it's your last, but plan like you will live forever. So in conclusion, before we lay Reece to his final resting place, Keith and Michelle and Jordan, thank you once again for coming to farewell Reece. And again, thank you to Kay, the team at Somerville Funeral Southport, for their expertise and organisation. And in the weeks to come, Keith, Michelle and Jordan ask that you would continue to remember Reece, what he was fighting for, and that you stay in touch with the family. In a few moments, we'll just give our final words of farewell and committal, and then the last post will play as the coffin is being lowered. And once the coffin has lowered, the family will then release a dove. So our final words. With great respect and dignity, we now commit Reece's body to the grave and to its final resting place. We acknowledge that his spirit lives on, and the essence of his soul we will carry with us from this day forward. You have taught us much, and for that we are truly thankful. We honour and we respect you. We miss you, but we will never forget you. Reece, sleep tight from Mum and Dad, and from the rest of us we say, Reece Paul Harding.